ディライトメント代表佐々木です。最先端の UX/UI デザインとブランディングを提供するデザインスタジオです。アイディアをリアルにし、可能性をさらに広げるようなセラピューティックで楽しいユーザー体験をデザインしています。今回のセッションは私の友人であり、優れたブランドストラテジストのリチャード・セイジさんをお迎えしております。ブランディングの力とは何か、その深い意味について話を伺っていきたいと思います。リチャードさん、Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And so Richard, can you please introduce yourself for the people who don't know you?
Sure. 私はリチャードです。どうぞよろしく。I'm from San Francisco. I'm mostly a video producer who also does video strategy and branding. And I've been doing this roughly for 4 years now. And I have about 20 years in video as a whole, doing television, film, and web streaming since 2010.
I'm just going straight to the question, What is the brand strategist?
Sure.
Yes.
There are much confusion about what a brand strategist is. Primarily, a brand strategist is in charge of the whole brand experience, which may include not just the logo and colors, which is what most people think it is.
Right.
It's the whole experience, the vibe, the feel, all the way a brand communicates to the public as a whole, down to their tone, down to across all social media, across print. So it's this one holistic view of how a brand is represented in every aspect, whether it's on a website, on an application, on a t-shirt, on a brochure, everything. Making sure it's all consistent and all matches.
Oh man, that sounds like a really holistic view.
It is. It's a very
Right.
holistic view.
So if the viewer who wants to learn this, become a brand strategist or to learn branding, what type of a skill needed to become a brand strategist?
What type of skill?
Yes.
There's a lot of skills. The biggest skill I found that was most useful, which they don't teach you in any book, is becoming a facilitator. Learning how to get a group of people to work together and lead them to an answer.
Oh, okay.
Very similar to running a workshop.
Right.
Getting people from different departments who don't normally work together and getting them to share ideas and have them come to a solution themselves, and without you telling them the answer.
Okay.
You have to basically leave breadcrumbs for them to follow,
Right.
so they can find the answer themselves.
Okay.
That's been the most important skill.
Okay.
However, what they're going to teach you in a book or a course is primarily analytical skills, looking at a lot of being able to ask the right question.
Right.
Is very important to extract information from people. So when you have it all, you're able to synthesize it into a strategy.
Okay. So needs much of like a listening skill, like
need-
hearing skill.
Correct. You need really good listening skills and really good analytical skills and communication skills.
Okay. So yeah, those are maybe a designer who in a company, like a big corporation, like say the designer, like a solo designer who has a solo client, they don't have a group of people to facilitate. What kind of process that designer should take to become a better brand strategist?
Sure. One thing I've learned, a brand strategist at the end of the day is a business strategist.
Okay.
So having a fundamental education in business will go a long way. My experience, most designers are artists and never learned business. So understanding basic business and gearing your questions with your client in a business manner instead of a design manner. It shouldn't be, hey, what color do you want? What kind of website do you want? How many web pages do you want? Forget that. It's more like, okay, what is the purpose of this website? What do you want this website to do? Why do you want this website? Oh, we want it to we have a new business, we want to start doing websites. Why did you start the business? Oh, because this is our passion is what we want to do. Okay, well, how much money do you want to generate? So these questions will allow you to attach a number to the project so it can measure the success of your project. So if you go the designer route, oh, I want this color, this many pages, this type of logo. At the end, you deliver it. The client's kind of happy, but they're also dissatisfied because they can't articulate why it's not working. Because you never talked about the business part of it. We want 1,000 visitors every month on our website. We want to close 10 sales a month on this website. When you have those intentions, you design around those intentions.
Like setting up the KPI.
Exactly. Understanding who the real customers are. Because you're not designing for the client, you're designing for the client's customer. So you have to remove yourself and go deeper.
I see.
And understand, well, we have X, Y, Z customers, but we really want to get more of this customer.
I see. Interesting. So you were saying, you were asking like, why do you want to do? You keep saying why.
Correct.
So it's like there's like a mission statement, purpose statement, and vision statement. Do you go through that? Do you have like a, let's say, purpose statement that's related to why, right?
Yes.
Why your company exists. Do you go through the process first before you actually do the branding? I mean, that's part of the branding.
That's part of the branding strategy, correct. From my experience, most young companies don't need a brand strategy right away. Because one, they're a startup. They don't have a lot of money. Brand strategy takes a lot of time on you as the strategist, and it's not cheap. So from what I've learned is if you are dealing with young companies, their main goal is make money as fast as possible. So you can apply brand strategy techniques on a project and then build from there. So purpose statement, mission statement, vision statement is not that necessary in the beginning. Just pick one. A vision, purpose, or so mission, purpose, or vision statement, just kind of smash it into one in the beginning to make sure they have a direction of where they want to go. That will be more than enough. The whole separating the purpose, mission, vision, values is more for larger organizations. And if you're not working with large organizations, it's unnecessary. It does help in the long term, but if they're young, they just need money now. So more focused on the numbers and having some sort of purpose for them to fall back on. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we really want to help these type of people. So when they get tired or maybe they're doubting themselves, they can refer back to it. Oh yeah, this is why we're doing it. So we continue on. It's for motivation more than anything else.
Well, that makes sense. What do you call that, this compact statement? You said you mash those four statements into one.
It varies. You can call it the purpose, the mission, or the vision. I find most people will call it the mission statement.
Mission statement.
I find mission and purpose to be very close, but usually the mission is about how you get there.
How to achieve it.
The vision is where you want to be, and the purpose is why you exist.
I see.
They're different questions, but most people are focused on one of those three in the very beginning.
I see. Well, that's a great insight. So you have this statement that actually, so if that, the clients will lose the direction where they need to be or where they want to be, always look into the statement so they could align with their vision. Thank you.
Those statements are usually internal. They're not meant for the public.
Oh, it's internal.
Yes.
It's meant for public.
Correct.
What is for the public one? What statement that would be?
That would be your tagline.
Tagline. Okay. What's the difference between tagline and copyline? Wait, copyright. We say copyright.
Copyright. Oh, okay. So a copyright is usually, so in the US, I'm not sure if it's the same here in Japan, there's trademark and copyright. So a trademark is usually your logo that you can trademark.
Visual design.
Yeah, visual design. A copyright can be a word. So you can copyright a tagline. But the tagline is a one-sentence message that encompasses your whole company's purpose. And usually in 3 to 5 words.
Okay, let's put it in perspective. Like say Nike. Nike has this "just do it."
Just
right?
do it. Correct. That's their tagline.
That's the tagline.
And they can copyright it and own it, so no one else can use it.
Okay. I understand.
Like Altoids, the mint?
Mint.
Theirs is called Curiously Strong.
That's their tagline.
That's their tagline.
So tagline meant for the public.
Correct.
Okay. The mission statement is meant for internal purpose. Okay. Well, thank you. That makes sense. Okay, we're moving to the next one. So yeah, we briefly touch on marketing, but could you explain the difference between branding and marketing? Easily get confused. I myself get confused.
This is an endless debate. Everyone has their own opinion on this.
Right.
I will give you my opinion based on the education I've received and the books I've read.
Okay.
Branding actually goes way back to the 50s, before it was even called branding. So branding used to live inside of marketing. Okay. Branding started evolving in the 80s. These two gentlemen by the name of Jack Trout and Al Reese wrote a bunch of marketing books, and they eventually started writing branding books, where they would analyze. I actually did a big analysis case study on a Japanese beer company, because they were really heavily beer. I think it was Asahi, and they were looking at Asahi's brand. It did Coca-Cola as well. And they discovered companies with really well-established brands made way more money and owned more market share and would survive downturns in bad economies. Later on, another gentleman by the name of Marty Neumeier wrote a bunch of books on branding starting in the 90s. And he kind of became the more contemporary one. And I would say, even today, he's kind of considered the godfather of brand strategy, even though he's second generation. But the main difference I found is marketing focuses on the quantitative, meaning it focuses on numbers. While branding focuses on the qualitative, focuses on the feeling.
I see.
So if marketing is numbers, marketing is about getting customers. Branding is about keeping customers.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Because the branding is more of your feeling.
Correct.
Right. So
because you attach a feeling to a brand that you associate, that's why you constantly go back to them. Because it makes you feel a certain way. And you're buying that feeling.
Right. Well, thank you. That's a clear answer. Yeah, appreciate it. Well, let's move to the next one. The why is a content marketing a favored marketing strategy among many brands. This one is, I see it everywhere. And then what we're doing right now is also a content marketing.
Eventually this will become content marketing. You're correct.
Why do you think it's favored?
I think, content marketing has evolved. Now, I think when people say content marketing, they're mostly talking about video. But sometimes it can be called video marketing. But majority of all content now is video. Before that, content marketing was flyers and brochures and blogging, but nothing is more effective than video. The thing about video specifically, when it comes to content, it's what they call evergreen. It only gains more value over time. You can make this video, you can put it on YouTube, and it lives there forever, and over time it gets more and more and more views. It can sit on YouTube for years and have 100 views, then one day someone shares it and it gets 100,000 views out of nowhere. You're like, what happened?
It's viral.
It can go viral, even though it's really old. This is the beauty of content marketing. If you keep making it consistently and putting it out there, it's only going to become a library of you, and it becomes more valuable for you. And if you are giving customers value like we are now, and helping people understand certain things, specifically with branding versus marketing, you're educating people, you're teaching people. You could also be sharing what you're doing with people. It's a form to connect with people. Because in the past, marketing is all about, hey, look at me, buy this, look at me, buy this, we're cool. Now content marketing has a little bit of that, but really it's more about education. Hey, we learned this. If you want to get to where that path is, this is the way we got there. You can choose how to go there or not. Some people will follow, some people will not. However, you put it out there, and then you keep putting more and more and more. And over time, you build authority.
Right.
You become an expert. One video, you're not an expert. 100 videos, he's done a lot. 1,000 videos, oh my gosh.
Right.
He's a teacher now. For instance, Christo.
Right.
He started making content in 2014. 10 years later, he has almost 2,000 videos. That's a lot.
Right.
Now, with that 2,000 videos, you have a large audience.
Right.
And you can go back and watch the first videos and watch the new ones.
Right.
They are so different.
Right. Right.
And everyone has their own journey. The king of all content, Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. Okay.
He has made $1 billion company out of content. He was a YouTuber streamer. Twitch streamer. He started off doing gaming, but he doesn't even do gaming anymore.
He doesn't.
Now he just does like reality TV on YouTube.
Okay.
It's unscripted, but he's the king of content now.
Now.
He cracked the code and made $1 billion business out of it.
Crazy.
So, in my opinion, content is king with connecting with your audience, because if you know your audience well, you should really know their problems. So, like for instance, we're talking about the difference between branding and marketing, because maybe your audience doesn't fully understand, or your clientele. Therefore, instead of having you have to explain it, be like, hey, I did a whole video on this. Go watch it.
Right. Simple.
And by people watching your content, they learn more about you. They can connect with your skills and understand, like, oh, okay, I understand. Because in the beginning, most people are not going to buy from you right away. And they need time to like kind of get to know who you are, time to trust you.
Right.
And usually takes, I think right now it's about 8 touch points before someone will buy from you.
8 touch points.
8 touch points. So that could be a website, an app, multiple social media posts. It could be 8 videos. But over time, it's going to take at least 8 times.
That's a many points.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
So think about it. It could be like an Instagram story, maybe 2 YouTube videos, 1 blog post, and maybe 1 live, maybe an Instagram carousel. And each one, little by little, you're getting more and more inside their mind.
I see.
And with each one, they're trusting you a little more, as long as you're giving them something that they can use.
Okay.
Versus like, hey, I'm Hilo, buy from me, I'm cool. You know, that's not valuable.
That's not valuable.
This is where I think content can achieve that, especially with answering people's questions and giving them the answers they're looking for.
I see. Thank you. Yeah. And I think we all know that creating content is such a vital thing.
Yes.
But many people, including myself, I was stuck. I was just being too perfectionist because I didn't want to like put out half-baked contents, and it just waited for me. Like maybe it took me half a year to finally come up with something, you know. But I haven't like published a single piece of content yet. And then I know there's so many people struggling to put out one content, you know. What kind of advice you can give to those people who may be too perfectionist or too afraid to publish their own content?
My one advice is understand that your content is going to be garbage. It's going to be terrible in the beginning. It's all in your mind. Everyone has the perfection monster. In the end of the day, it's all about numbers until you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have to do so many to get good. You can't sit on just one. My best advice is give yourself a time limit.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to do this project. I'm going to give myself 3 days. In 3 days, no matter what, if it's not finished, just put it out there. Next time, I'm going to give myself 2 days. No matter what, good or bad, just put it out there. Next time, 1 day. Good or bad, put it out there. Then every day, put something out there. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
It's not about perfection. It's about getting used to the habit and the behavior of putting stuff every day. What helped me kind of get over that mental block of the perfectionist, there's a great book by Austin Kleon called Show Your Work. And one of my favorite ones in the book is called Share a Little Something Every Day. It doesn't have to be great. It could be just a photograph. It could be a drawing. It could just be you talking, hey everybody, how you doing? I'm having a rough day. I'm drinking some coffee. Thank you. Something simple. It doesn't. You don't have to overthink it. It's about getting the rhythm and the behavior, and over time you become more comfortable with the camera, more comfortable sharing. It's not about the perfection. It's just about sharing a piece of your soul with everybody else, sharing a piece of your skill with everybody else, a piece of your knowledge with everybody else. Just share who you are with everyone little by little every day. And little by little, it gets bigger, 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 and easier. And it becomes more valuable as you become more comfortable. Because then all this, you let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Because really, it's all in your head.
True. It's all in the head. And making a good habit.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be
really super.
It's weird.
Yeah,
because you're like,
yeah.
And over time, you're like, little by little, like, Then you're like, okay, I'm me now. It doesn't matter anymore. And you just go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Thank you. That's a beautiful advice. Appreciate it. Okay, so the last question would be, could you provide any tips or advice for a designer who wants to learn about branding?
Absolutely. The best thing I can tell you would be educate yourself. In order to do so, you can take courses. Courses are useful. Now that brand strategy is popular, there's a lot of them. Not all of them are great. I've taken quite a few. My favorite one has been Brand Master Secrets by Stephen Hurahan. Phenomenal course, totally worth it. It'll give you a great education, and it gives you a lot of tools and workbooks that you can use to formulate the strategy. However, that's more focused on the analyst and synthesizing. He also eventually made a follow-up course called Brand Strategy Workshop, which is like the part of gathering the information, while Secrets is about synthesizing the information into a strategy. Now, I will say this, there are some caveats. It's more focused towards someone who wants to work with corporate clients, not necessarily small clients. And it's expensive to buy 2 courses. You're looking at a couple $1,000s. I think about 2,000. On the cheaper end, I think that's still extremely valuable. Is books. Specifically, I've got 2 off the top of my head are extremely useful. There's Marty Neumeier's Zag. That book alone is a full brand strategy workbook from front to back. It'll teach you how to do a full-on strategy. It's a 17-step strategy. It's a bit long.
17 steps.
17
steps.
So,
Okay.
17. But that alone, you'll understand it inside and out. Another one is by Matt Davies called Story Strategy. It is also, it's a 6-step strategy. And it's more focused, it's a brand strategy focused on storytelling. So it has a unique approach because story, I think, is a critical component in branding. Because, in my opinion, storytelling is the programming language of the human mind. So Matt Davies' book focuses on building a brand strategy around a story. And it will help you resonate with your audience. Other than that, definitely also round out your education with some marketing books. And business books. Another one I can recommend is, I can't remember the author's name, but the book is called One Page Marketing Plan. Very simple book. It's marketing, but also shares a lot of the same principles as branding, and they can go together like this. What's another one? For content, I mentioned Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. He also has another book called Steal Like an Artist. It's more of a book about inspiration, which will get you out of your rut, which is a good one. Very short books, easy reads. Also, just study brands. Look at your favorite brands that you like and try to understand why you like them. What is it that you're attracted to that? Why are you resonating with that brand? Once you look into that and you understand why you are connecting to that, you'll be able to reverse engineer, like, I see what they're doing now. Then you can analyze other brands, especially ones you don't like. So you want to do both ends, the one you like and the one you don't like. Because good strategy, brand strategy will attract and repel. Because when you stand for something, you're going to attract a certain group and you're going to repel the other people.
I see.
Because you can't be everything to everyone. If you're everything to everyone, you're nothing to everyone.
You
have to take your stand and pick that one lane and go all the way that way. So if you're going this way, you can't go that way anymore. So understand why you like certain brands and why you don't like other ones. It can be based on their aesthetic. It can be based on their values. It can be based on their messaging. Who knows? It varies from person to person. I think by doing that, you'll have a better grasp. And then once you have your education rounded out by reading a few books, just get into it. Start doing it. Find your business and like, hey, I'll do a strategy for you for free, and just get through as many as you can.
Okay.
Much like content, it's iteration. You gotta do one after the other, because after every other one, you get just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And with the experience, you'll learn more. The book is just the theory. And then you apply the theory, but you'll learn more through experience, what works and what doesn't work.
Okay.
So if you want to get through at least 5 strategies as fast as possible, and then you'll have an idea like, oh, okay, now I know what works, what doesn't work. In the beginning, you're not going to charge a lot of money, charge a little bit, and over time you could charge more.
More and more.
And from my experience, it's very hard to sell brand strategy.
Is it? Okay.
If you're not doing it for corporations. So you have to sneak it in. You could just call it strategy. So for instance, I do video primarily. So when I do video for a client, the first thing we do is strategy. I don't say it's brand strategy, but it's a workshop where I gather information, but I'm doing brand strategy questions and workshops. So, but I just apply it to a video. That's the beauty of it. It can be applied to anything, whether you're doing UX design, whether you're doing graphic design, whether you're doing videography, or any type of commercial art. It applies to each one. But so you continue selling your services, but now you are putting strategy first to make your craft more potent and more valuable.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you can tell a client, I cannot do this to you you until we do the strategy. Because I need to understand what is it that you want and why you're doing it. And at that stage, they pay you just for that.
Okay.
And then after that stage is done, they can choose to continue for you to execute the project, or they can take the strategy and go somewhere else. Or there's like, we're done, we don't want to do anything because we found out that what we wanted is not really the direction we want to go. We thought we wanted a website, in reality we needed a video instead. That's where the strategy will reveal what the real problem is. Because in the beginning, it's all about revealing what is it that they really want and what the problem is. Because what they want and what the problem is aren't always aligned.
Right.
Sometimes the problem is this, and they thought they want to go over here, but now they need to go over here. And maybe the solution is not a service that you can offer. Right? I'm doing UX design, but I need a video. Well, I'm not a videographer, I can't help you, but I know a videographer. Let me introduce you.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because for my clients, it's sometimes not super big corporation work, so probably don't need a grandmaster branding service.
Exactly.
You know, so it's tailor-made, customize the strategies and changing the scale, and then to do it to find out the pain points they need.
Correct.
And then create a design around it.
Correct.
Right.
But you're just working about what they need,
right?
And then you tailor, like you said, you tailor your services to fit their needs, and you might have 2 or 3 tiers. Like, okay, this is the basic minimum to solve your problem, but I know this will help you, and I can do this too. It might be a little extra.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's always best to do the strategies first, rather than starting doing designing. You
Correct.
know, that's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, because usually it doesn't align with what they want.
Correct.
And
because
it involves many revisions, and it costs you time and their time. So
correct. Because you two are not in sync. Because you don't really know what they wanted until you do the strategy first. Then everyone's expectations are laid out, and when time comes for revisions, you can always ask them, because maybe the purpose is, hey, we want to gain 10% more customers. Okay. And then like, oh, we want to change directions now. And you can ask them, well, will this change benefit your customer? Is this going to help you get more customers? It makes them think like, you know what? It's not. So forget about it. So you can use it, not necessarily to your advantage, but you can always have the client refer back to the original goal. Right. So, because clients will go wild sometimes. Like, oh, I want to do this. No, I want to do that. No, I want to do this. I want to do that. And they just want the next shiny thing. So you always have that anchor, like, is this going to help you meet your goal? Yes or no? And they have to answer it. no, it's not going to help the goal, then we shouldn't do it. If you still want to do it, we can, but now if we go this direction, everything we did is no longer going to work. And now you're going away from our original goal.
Okay. Thank you. Well, you shared many resources. I think many people now want to know, okay, so how to do the strategies with the clients. What books maybe out of the resources you shared, what books maybe to be the first book to the designer should read, or designer or anyone who wants to learn strategy?
The first book. I think the first book you read is Marty Neumeier's Zag.
Okay, that's the book to start.
It's his second book. His first one was Brand Gap. It's okay. It's kind of dated now because it was written before social media. I think Zag is universally the best. And if you want to continue to his third book called Brand Gap, it's a nice roundabout education, but I think Zag alone will be enough. Story Strategy is another, I think would be a great second book for brand strategy. Then for a third book, I would recommend actually the marketing book. One-page marketing plan, because that will give you more of a tactical, while the branding's more like more of a big picture. The one-page marketing plan is more like, okay, we got the strategy, now how do we take it to market? And then it gives you the tactics to bring it to market to sell. I think that would be great. Those three books alone will give you a great round education. And then from there, you can look at others. And you'll notice after reading those three, whether or not any other book you read, most of them are just going to copy the ones you already read, or it's going to be completely different. So those three, I think, would be the best. Also, there's a lot of great free resources on YouTube.
Which channel do you recommend?
Let's see, which channels for branding? There is The Future with Chris Do. His older stuff. He doesn't do much brand strategy anymore, but he does have a brand strategy playlist. Definitely watch those. They're great. And all his business type videos, because it ties in to strategy. And there's one more. Is it, gosh, it's one of the consultations. Was it Deloitte? It's kind of dry and corporate. There's Boston Consulting Group. It's more very high-level corporate. They're very boring, but they get to the point. I can't think of any more on the top of my head, but I'd be more than happy to share all my resources and links in which you can just click on and review, or I can put together a PDF with all my resources.
Well, thank you so much. Just so many great, important insights to share with us.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Yeah. はい。素晴らしいセッションありがとうございました。リチャードさん、今日はあなたの経験と知見を共有していただきましてありがとうございます。ディレートメントでは今日紹介させていただいたアイデアや戦略を生かして皆様のビジネスの成長をサポートしていきたいと考えています。それではまた次回のインタビューでお会いしましょう。ありがとうございました。Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. I'm Richard Sellis. Thank you for watching Delightment. You can find me on my website at richardsellis.com. And I'm on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn.